Welcome everyone to the 141st Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. It's Thursday, October 13th, 2016. And as always, we're here with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And he'll deliver today's latest news in the world of plasma. And we hope to hear from Carrie Ellis and Whitney Fisher on their workshop tour, their US and Canada workshop tour, as well as the usual repertoire of many things that we see on this show. Okay, I think we're ready to begin. Mr. Keshe, are you available there?
Yes, good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to these Knowledge Seekers broadcasts. Welcome to nearly 3 years of teaching, where we've been teaching flawlessly for nearly just about 3 years. And it brings into light, there is a lot of information still to be shared and a lot of us to learn a lot and teach each other about. One of the main points today is we've been teaching relentlessly going forward, trying to cover every aspect. Thus we decided to allow any questions which enlightens us to be asked, and we try to find or try to answer it. And we'll see what's the progress in the background, what is going on, how the technology and the foundation develops. As you have seen, we have a major conference on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. This is one of the most important lectures and scientific papers ever be issued by, or beginning of it, of the Keshe Foundation. In the conference, some of the leading African scientists will participate from universities and different institutes. The meeting is as part of the structure of the Keshe Foundation. I have explained this before. I go over it that you understand what it means, this conference, for the foundation and for what is to come in the future. We have brought a new technology, we have brought a new school of thoughts, we have brought a new ethos in the knowledge sharing. And this does not go in the grain or with the grain of a lot of people who especially have degrees, especially have a lot of work they've done in the background in their life, and now something new has come, which more or less puts a lot of things they've done out of line of thinking for them. So they have to oppose it. And trying to disperse the knowledge in a correct way, we needed to teach. So we started teaching over 3 years ago, actually over 20 years ago, different kind of teaching started. In that process, we have millions of people around the world who are testing, who are trying, who are developing different aspects of the technology. Some tried even in conferences to mention the Keshe Foundation name as technology, and they were barred from presenting, even as recent of past couple of weeks in the way we hear. We know scientists who had to go around to teach the Keshe Foundation technology without mentioning, because they were told their papers would not be accepted even for their PhDs. This brought us to the point that we saw a huge obstacle in trying to bring the knowledge in a scientific world. So the alternative to it was, now that we have the institute, now that we have several hundred students in different languages, they cannot be crucified, they cannot be cast aside because they cannot publish their work. They cannot bring it into public. So what we done, we went to the next step. We organized our own international spaceship technology conferences, where you as public, scientists who are joining in as doctors and scientists, submit their papers in public arena. We could organize small conferences and just to have a conference, but this wasn't what I call the main objective of the whole process, to bring the knowledge. What we done, we gone a step further. We have invited world-leading scientists from Africa to join us, and willingly they have accepted. We expect maybe between 150 to 200 scientists and maybe some public. We are told during the process of the conference, some of the leading politicians will join. The coverage will be heavy by African nations media, and we've been promised that the technology will be dispersed in Africa very rapidly. So on the back of what we've done, now teaching, now the students have become teachers, as you've seen many of them in the background in teaching. The workshops, now Keshe Foundation plasma scientists have a platform to submit their work officially as in conferences to the other scientists. We don't ask what's your background, where you come from. We look to listen and learn about the new technology. We look and listen in what more we can add to the knowledge. So the next step for us was the establishment of the conferences, international conferences, at least twice a year, and to carry this through over next year, 2 years, 3 years, and publish the papers. This is how we release the knowledge, especially to the scientific world. When they ask, is there any publication? Yes, there is a conference, papers have been published. So we create the credibility according to their standard, but in fact most of you have seen and heard these before in different part of the teaching and development. So this is a natural progress from teaching to conferences to share more between the scientists, and at the same time the next step is what comes of these teachings, what these conferences leads to research, development and other things. We have come to this point, and the next step to this is how we bring the technology to be taught as it started in different school of thoughts, in different schools and education backgrounds. So this conference is the first of many to come in people submitting their understanding and the way what they have discovered. The presentation of this week is mainly by what we call the African scientists and technology development. It will be submitted by the African, what we call scientists of the new plasma technology. And we go across the world. We might bring some other scientists that they do live presentation as they could not come. This will be part of the development of the technology in sharing knowledge. Those scientists who would like to share their knowledge but they cannot be in position, we use the latest technologies to share, and they submit their papers and their knowledge. Ghana is more or less upon us, and the next call is 29, 30 and 31st of March 2017 in Rome. We have already got a number of doctors we have invited to submit their papers or their finding. We have a number of others who we have invited to join in, and we are in that process. So I would like to thank Benjamin and all the ones in the background in Ghana and across the world, Keshe Foundation, who supported, developed and looked after the nourishment of this conference. It is a very difficult conference to run. First of all, there is a lot of long distance connections, and on the other hand, whoever was to come, they need a lot of injections and other things to look after their care, health. In any case, we will see this conference through with success. We have already been assured of it. Benjamin is in Ghana. He will deliver it. He will see it through. And others from the Keshe Foundation who are on their way, and they will arrive in the next few days in Accra to see and support the technology and its development and its spreading of the knowledge. There's another point which I have to explain and declare, that in the next couple of weeks we will announce the members of the Keshe Foundation World Council. These are the 6 people who have, we, according to the ethos of the Keshe Foundation, understood the technology, at the same time have been serving and looking after the spread of the knowledge in a correct way, and in so many ways they have been the pioneers, and they have been the people in the background working hard in different aspects of technology. 3 of the members have already accepted. Hopefully by next week we'll receive confirmation from the other 3, and we will announce the World Council. You got to understand, we do not call it world government. Man does not needed to be governed anymore. Man needs to be consulted with, that he can add from his soul and physicality to the elevation of the other man. So we do not call it the world government, we call it the World Council. And the Council's job is and will become part of the structure of literally looking after every individual in different aspects. Most of the Keshe Foundation supporters know some or most of these people. We have not gone, and the situation which we have set is not by election that we elect. We ask if their soul and the physicality is in the state of serving humanity for the betterment of mankind. And strange enough, one of the first ones I called, he said yes, why not? It's a privilege. So we have set up, as we said, the Universal Council, which acts as of the Parliament, and we set the leadership of the planet. In time will not be election, but there will be selection of the souls and desire to serve humanity. In the first step, we have requested if they would like to support through their souls the elevation of the humanity to a new standard, where the leaders work across and with each other to improve the humanity and bring peace across mankind in every shape or form and the planet. In the next couple of weeks, you will meet the World Council. They will introduce to them. They will explain to you what is the thought and what is their wish. And if you are of the school of thought of the Keshe Foundation, you will find you follow the direction, the course for humanity which is laid out by their wishes. There is no rules passed that you can break it. The rules is judged by your soul and your conduct. We are on the process of setting up of the what I call police or protection units of the council, and our commercial, what we call economical arm, is on its way to complete. In the coming time we announce the Keshe Foundation banking system. In this process we are setting up the world government aside from the World Council. We'll see in time that the process will set itself in very rapidly, because you cannot fight a man who is a member of the World Council, who wishes nothing but peace and provides the tools of peace and comfort of the man. The only person who will fight this situation is the man which aggression is part of his character. And we know how to handle with those as well. We know how to deal with them, not by fighting, but by elevating their souls to the level that they understand their position. In the coming time, we'll expand on this. The Universal Council will join us in the coming time into public meetings where the councils will come out of their, what I call, the shell of being the Universal Council members, and on a regular basis we hear the wishes of them, which when it resonates with our souls, we will carry it out and it brings us peace. Rick, you wanted to share some knowledge with us, but among other people. Could you please let us know what you have to share this week, and then we try to add knowledge to it whenever it's appropriate.
Okay, would you want to start off with the workshop tour?
Yes, they've done a very good job in North America and Canada.
Okay, let's see if we can get Carrie on here. Carrie, are you available? Let me unmute you there.
Hey, Rick.
Hi, Carrie.
We have, I'm going to get in the other room because we have two computers on here. We've got me in one room and Whitney and Heather in another room, and we all have slides from the workshop if you want us, or I mean from the tour if you want us to show you a few. And just to
yes,
say,
absolutely.
Yeah, just to say, first of all, Whitney and I both are so privileged and honored to be part of what is going on with this plasma energy movement with the Keshe Foundation. I mean, all I can say is it's just a privilege to be doing this and to be out sharing it, and we recognize the value of what's going on in the planet hugely. So let's see. You put that picture up. I can just get.
I thought I just put that up because that was from the Vancouver workshop. And
yeah.
That's on our left. That's Whitney, and on the right is Carrie, and that's Ali in the middle. So that was a good picture.
That's awesome.
So you can do screen share then and show us directly. Okay.
Should I hit start video, or will you do that?
Do you have to start your video, or are you going to show pictures from your? I'm
going to screen share. Thank you. I forgot about that. Okay. And
please make sure you share your open your screen fully before you share, please.
Yes.
Yeah, just share your pictures rather than the whole screen top.
Right.
Desktop. Okay, so I'll probably have to stop my sharing in order for you to share. So, okay, it's coming through here.
How's that?
Yes, you're seeing a beautiful poster there. This is your new poster format. Is that true?
Yeah, that was kind of just a slide that we used at the beginning of the tour, and Whitney and I joined up. Whitney, excuse me, Whitney really co-founded something called Many Hands for Peace, and it's about people coming together as community to learn how to use plasma technology and to build devices together, because together we have many skills. And that was the amazing thing that we saw as we traveled when we brought people together, how just incredible each person's talent was, down to people even bringing cookies. We had that, and that was fun. So and then 21st Century Superhuman is kind of my background, my book, my teaching, and so I've been out teaching that, and so we kind of blended those two things together. And I'll just zip through some of these slides. I just put an overview in here. I basically started out in Florida and drove across the country, and it was like something just said to me, take plasma across North America. The kind of craziness was going on with the election, and it just felt like we needed more plasma energy in North America. So I just listened. This little voice said, just drive it across. And as I left and Mrs. Kesh realized what was going on, she messaged me and said, please take GANs to Standing Rock. And I had already really wanted to do that. So I carried a lot of things in my vehicle and had many amazing experiences because of it. I had a lot of GANs with me in different forms, in balls and bottles and jars. And I actually did a show on I do these 21st Century Superhuman shows, which are easily available on YouTube and my website, 21stcenturysuperhuman.com. But this is about that story of bringing the GANs to Standing Rock. And also, one of the things that gets talked about in the plasma technology is how we can see, bolts of lightning, bolts of light, and rainbows and plasma light. And after I went to Standing Rock, I was driving through eastern Montana, and I went through this valley, and I literally saw, probably 30 to 50 rainbows. It was just one after another, and I felt like we just amplified the plasmatic field. And there were some really amazing people that I met in the journey to bring this to Standing Rock, and I also talked to other people who were choosing to do the same thing. And I was asked not to really talk too much about it personally by the people who took it, but it felt like a huge blessing. A woman and I just stood there with tears in our eyes, and I just was able to tell her many of us in the world are standing with them. And she was
Can I interrupt?
Yes,
Could
please.
you explain about the Standing Rock? Because a lot of people don't know what it is.
Okay. It's a place where many, many people have gathered. I don't even know what the numbers are right now, but predominantly Native American people, but many others have gone to join them because there isn't, one of the big oil companies is attempting to put a pipeline through incredibly pristine, beautiful country. It will pollute 4 giant rivers if that is done. And it's that, the people are standing up and saying, we don't want this to be done on planet Earth anymore. And the corporate culture is attempting to push its way through. So it's been a very important movement, I think, of the voice of the people for planet Earth. And it was really a privilege to bring that there. And I also brought some nano-coated copper in a special infinity loop that I gave her, and a Triskelion in a medallion. So she explained to her how to take it back and do prayers with the water. I gave her some health pads also, and explained a number of things. So anyway, it was really a blessing to take that there. And this is some of the GANs I was carrying with me on the trip across country. And as I got out to Montana, Whitney, the day before I got there, and I got there a day late because of going to Standing Rock, she had set up to participate in a festival of peace at this Garden of 1,000 Buddhas. And we seemed to end up kind of right near Buddhist centers as we've been doing this tour. So Carolyn DeAngelis came out there and joined her on that. And I don't really have pictures of them doing that, but it was really a beautiful Buddhist center. And a number of people came that day. They sat with people and made health pens and health pads and had a really fantastic time. This particular center, a man had envisioned it as a child in Tibet and became a lama, ended up in prison for 8 years, and then came and found this piece of land. And all these little Buddhist statues, people donated $1,000 each and made these statues, hand-packed them on the property. And he was able to buy the property because of that. This was the property he had in his vision as a child. So it was really a special place. This is the next day. I ended up driving all night to get to where Whitney was in Montana, and we got up the next day, and we had a group waiting for us in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So we drove 3 or 4 hours Sunday morning to go over there, and really wonderful group and a beautiful. Each of these groups has been so amazing, and this is kind of just a little bit about what our workshops look like. I usually start out with a slideshow and kind of give an overview of the technology and what it can do, and people love it and are quite fascinated by it. And then we kind of have a sequence we do throughout the day. So we go through teaching how to make GANs and how to nano coat, how to make health pads. We have people with a supplies list, and they bring their supplies to the workshop, and this guy actually wheeled his into the house in a wheelbarrow. He was a really practical person, and had a great attitude. We just had so much fun with all these people. There's Whitney. I call her the whiz kid. She's really great at the science end of things, and she's teaching how to make coils here. And everybody gets involved. Everybody participates. And each workshop is different. None of them are the same. Just all kinds of people, all ages, more slides. And we have these amazing people here. Each one kind of speaks up, and each one has talents and abilities that they bring to the table. And part of what we're doing as we share this is helping them realize the talents that they have in their own community, that it's not just us, but it's them. And we're trying to ignite them with the idea of wanting to go forward and continue this together as a group. And we feel that we've kind of accomplished that every place that we've been. This was the second weekend with this same group. The first weekend we did slideshow, health pads, health pens, nano coating, and GANs. And then the second weekend we did power units and car units, and building all the parts and pieces of those, and learning how to wire coils together, and kind of getting a feel and an understanding for how this all works. Really wonderful bunch. Then we went up to Canada and hung out with JC for a day, and he actually taught us a bunch of really interesting, kind of more finer details about how things go together. It was a very helpful time to spend, and we had been making coils for a car unit for me as we traveled, and this was them sitting on a register nano coating, kind of like on the go. And I actually put these coils on some ice water to see what kind of a plasmatic field they would make, because we always teach this in our groups. And then JC actually helped Whitney put the car unit together, and they made a video of how they did it, which was great. And that's kind of the pieces going together. This is the Columbia River out near where JC lives. And one of the things we have chosen to do on this entire tour is every time we stop at a location, we're carrying ocean GANs with us from the Dead Sea, from the Gulf of Mexico, and now from the Pacific. And they all go into a mixed ocean GANs, sea GANs. And we put some of that GANs water into the water at the location where we are, and ask for the blessing of peace to be on planet Earth. And we invite all of our groups to do that with us. We bless the water, the GANs that we're mixing as we go with all the GANs from different places. And so we did this with JC, and put a rock in a sock, and put some GANs, about a little bottle of GANs in there, and threw it in the river, and did our prayers of peace. And we went from where JC was over to all the way to Vancouver Island. We never planned at the beginning of this trip we'd go all the way to the west coast of Canada, but the universe had other things in mind and led us that way. Rick invited us to come to Vancouver Island, and there we are with him. Really great fun to meet him in person, meet each person in person. And as we got there, we invited Rick to speak, and so he spoke about the Keshe Foundation and his vision for what he's doing. Wonderful group, and behind, on the background there, you can see a banner that some of the kids on one of the islands made for world peace. And this was a theme that we talked about as we went. These are some of the ladies that put this workshop together for us. Rick brought us t-shirts with the Keshe Foundation logo on them, and which we really enjoyed. And these ladies worked really hard to put this together. The lady on the left met Mr. Keshe 20 years ago, and knew that he was bringing something amazing into the world. And so it was just so neat, the people we met along the way. There's a really beautiful poster they made before we got there. What's she holding? It's an ingredient in a plasma generator. I mean, it's creativity and the beauty of how these people are sharing these things. Somebody having fun with the coils. And as Rick said, we've seen plenty of pictures of coils, but it's amazing to see a whole group of people get together and do this, work together, run the drills together, handle the
water. Speaking of drills, you guys had 7 drills there for 16 people, and at some points, I think all of them were going. Like everybody's hands were busy all the time and helping each other and so on. It was quite amazing, actually.
It was. It's such a great feeling when you're in a room like that, and each group turns out differently. They're never the same, and these guys are using a wooden jig on the right that JC made a couple of those for us when we were up with him, and those were great to carry with us and to run the wire and the drill mandrels through. Everybody working together, just so much fun, so heartwarming, and then we went on from Vancouver Island to Vancouver, and this was a guy who had messaged us and said, "Please come to Vancouver." And there was a lady named Jean, who's not in the picture, but he and she worked on this together, Rainy Vancouver. And of course, since we were in Vancouver, we invited Ollie, and he came and he spoke about the Universal Council and spent the morning with us on Sunday morning. It's really great. Just so great to meet each person in person who we've been working with. We actually had some people from other parts of the world who were here at this workshop. It was small but very powerful. We felt there was a really major reason we were in Vancouver as kind of a hub where a lot of people come and go from different places in the world, kind of setting that frequency in place of plasma. We started some sayings that were bring the plasma to the people. I think one of our people started that, and plasma for peace. The lady on the right actually followed us from Vancouver Island to Vancouver and came to both workshops where these kids show up and they were talking about and asking about GANs. Here's this group making health pads. Just so much fun to get people, playing together at all this stuff. And it's like they almost can't wait to get going. A treat, what fun, what a blessing and an honor to just be out sharing such amazing information in the world. And actually, the lady who was our host in Vancouver took this picture out her balcony off of her apartment, this dove of peace. And as I said before, we carried mixed sea GANs water every place we went and added new GANs to it at each location. And every group stood and said and held the field for peace on the planet. And we've arrived at where Heather Bryant is. That's her in the background, and me and Whitney and 2 of Heather's helpers who opened up the way for us to speak at the Triad Theater here last night. And I think Whitney and Heather are sitting on a computer in the other room. They'd love to jump on with just a few more slides from here that Heather's got, if you want to do that, Rick. And
yeah, that'd be fine. Heather is now a panelist, I believe, so she can show directly if that's possible there.
Great. Thank you so much for the privilege to share, and we just feel honored to be part of this work again.
Well, thanks a lot for all the hard work that you've done, and a lot of driving time too, from Florida to basically diagonally across North America to Vancouver Island, which is the farthest west point you can get on North America without going to Hawaii.
Right.
I live a couple of kilometers from the farthest west point, so it's interesting. And now you're on your way back, basically. Where's your end result going?
Well, it's amazing because people have been opening up the doors and inviting us, and you know, going out and making things happen. We're going from here to Portland, to Ashland and Eugene, Oregon, and then to possibly Sedona, and then Colorado. And literally, Whitney and I are starting to get invitations from other countries. I got an invitation to South Africa today, and
Great.
she's talking to somebody in Norway. So we're trying to get it so that each of us knows how to teach. We each have different skills, kind of, but we're learning from traveling together so that we could teach, you know, everything that each other does. We're really doing this on a shoestring. You know, we set off without, we both have kind of given our lives and given up a lot of our possessions in order to just walk the earth and help with this awakening process. And we're just doing what we're doing by donation. We put a suggested donation amount, which is very moderate, on the workshops. And but we also say, don't let not having money keep you from coming. Please donate what you can to help this journey keep going. And we find that our needs are being provided, and we're very grateful. Very well, and we're well taken care of. We've been staying with wonderful people along the way, and we're it's just a really beautiful way to be doing this work at this time. And you know, neither one of us are new to this. I've been teaching workshops for many years and on awakening topics, and Whitney was part of the One People's movement when that happened a few years ago. So we've both had a little practice at doing this before, but we have a really deep love for this teaching and are just grateful to be out here helping share it.
Speaking of sharing, is there a picture or something you want to share there, or is the sharing done? Zoom.
I think
It's just
Heather.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
Thank you, Heather.
this is Heather and Whitney. We're in the other room.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So I just, I've got two different files, and I'll just go through this one real quickly just to back up from Arizona a week ago, because I wanted to show all the awesome co-creation that we did with the people there in the Keshe Manufacturing in Arizona participating. And then we'll do a show of what we did with Carrie and Whitney the other night. That was last night. Oh my gosh, it was last night. So we figured out how to make GANs in a hotel. So and you know, you've used the do not disturb sign because the maids would probably go, what the? You know, so it was, you know, part of a 3-day retreat that we were there for anyways. And then they asked us to do a Keshe technology information clinic and do it yourself, teach them how to make patches and pins. And everybody just came together and co-created a beautiful thing. This is David Contreras, who's working with the Keshe Manufacturing in Arizona. He came in and brought a lot of his things that he's working on. He gifted a beautiful little car unit to me that I have yet to put in there, and really answered a lot of questions with the people there. And of course, John came and also participated, helped us with the tables and, oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah, we had to do some of that too. And so, you know, we had a table where we were showing them how to make 3 kinds of GANs with that trifecta method that we've put together these little kits for. We had a patch table where people could put together their patches, and back there they're making their nano pins. And it was a really nice group. It was in a beautiful place right there in Scottsdale. And of course we plasmified all the water there. It's a beautiful oasis, like 20 acres full of fountains and things. So it was just funny that they had, you know, H2 oasis, and then we were we were plasmifying all the water. And I know they've already shown this picture online, so I didn't take any pictures while I was there, but they gave us a beautiful tour of what's going on with the Keshe Manufacturing there. And that's my trifecta kit that I worked out so that I could give the participants of our program a way to take home a set, and they could make the 3 GANs when they get home. And it was after that event. So, okay, let me go ahead and close that one. I'm gonna stop share in case my screen comes up, and let me bring up the file for last night, which is right over here. Okay. What's that doing? Did you want to say anything, Whitney, while I bring that up?
Yeah, so this is Whitney. Hello, everyone. I've been here in the background for a year now, but haven't been able to participate really on the workshops live or because I haven't had internet or the tools at the right time. But I have been here learning and learning how to wind coils and everything. And it's just a wonderful thing to be able to share that with so many people. And as we've been traveling, it almost brings tears to my eyes how amazing our workshops have really turned out with the love that is in the room by the end of the workshop, and the togetherness that we feel, the unity that everyone feels when we spent hours and hours together and we've done time, and it's turned into a real adult playtime. Is wonderful, and even with the kids there, but to be engaged in making something together is just a fun process that not a lot of people have the opportunity to experience now. So the workshops are just so fully complete. There's so many different aspects that they take care of as far as the concerns of what a human is. You know, there's playfulness, there's information, there's engaged with people, and we're looking at each other face to face, we're hugging. There's a lot of unity going on with these workshops, and I'm really honored to be a part of it, and I'm very grateful to the Keshe Foundation for releasing this technology when I'm sure I resonated like many people that this was a way that we're going to fulfill on all of our mutual concern to bring our earth into balance, so that we can continue forward as a species. So my role is as a connector of people, and also in long-term development of our earth and where we go with it. So I'm anyway. So we're going to show pictures from from last night. Yeah,
and I just wanted to say that the way that these two presented the information at this workshop is this workshop last night was so beautiful, and how they represented the ethos of this this organization and what's being taught, how the tie-in was with world peace, and the consciousness piece of, you know, bringing in expanded awareness as we play with these different types of toys for the next dimensional experiences that we're having. Wow, it was very beautiful. So this is the one that we're getting ready to do in the next Sunday and Monday. So I wanted to do that before I get off in the rest of the file. So since they're here for about a week, we just, you know, chose to do a couple of different things. And by doing this one at the Triad Theater here locally, it, you know, helped us to get a lot of information out. They have a real good advertising base, and they do a good job of putting together a program. So.
And so together, just last April, Heather and I and Carrie and a handful of women, Lisa McDonald and Yasmin Tobin, we all kind of came together.
We'll talk to Dr. Rodrigo in a minute. Shush, Rodrigo. Okay.
We came together and started this Goddesses of GANS group that I'm sure you've seen the name pop up here and there. And then together we created the Many Hands for Peace concept and idea. And it is really an idea to provide a format that can be easily duplicated in any town across the world, and to give people the information we just felt so urgently needed to go out to them in a format that would be easy to download. And we're really discovering it as we do the workshops. So we're seeing that there's a format to the workshops that's just shaking out from all of it, and different tables to do different things. And Carrie really worked hard on this flow. She is a really amazing presenter, and she has delivered some of the most I've come to tears on some of the speeches that she's made. So we've been really working as a team. She's really wonderful at delivering a broad perspective overview that ties into, far more than just the technology, but what we're really doing on Earth together as a species right now. And so we're really teaming up really well. And I grew up with a lot of construction background, and I enjoy making things. And so I've been leading more of the physical doing part of it as far as showing people how to do things. And I still have a lot of questions of my own, but really the stop with JC was really wonderful to be able to get some questions answered in that respects. But we're really just starting with basics, because if we could build everything in a day, we would. We really tried. And we had the Vancouver workshop was 12 hours long, and we really got a lot done. It was awesome. I still feel like I want to spend more time with everybody that we've met so far. So anyway, there's my little bit on it.
And there's Whitney and Dr. Rodrigo's unit.
Yes, and this, okay, I really would like everyone in the world to build these. So I'm very energy sensitive, and I can feel gravitational magnetical fields. I can feel a lot of things. And standing in Mr. Rodrigo's device here, I don't even want to call it a device, because it's so much more than that.
He calls it the bridge.
The bridge, there we go, in the bridge here. That it felt like 20 people standing around sending energy work all at one time. And I had 10 minutes of time, and it was the most beautiful 10 minutes. And then really I can still feel the energy working on me now. So I'm very appreciative of what Dr. Rodrigo has created here.
Yeah, and he gives instructions. We actually have a video that he allowed us to take of the instructions he gives people as they go into the unit, which is just beautiful. We can do that if they would like us to at some point. And I was going to say, one beautiful thing about this presentation is Rodrigo has, he has really done a beautiful job educating this community. The caliber of the people that were there and the types of questions they were answering. People were bringing up things that they've already made. One of the young ladies was showing us this cute little health pad thing that she made so that she could lay down on it and have one set on each side. This fellow brought up a little DC converter, something he was using for creating the GANs. People were showing us their pens and gifting things to the girls, as they bring in an apple to the teacher. There's the GANs down at the front that we did that Carrie did her little water ceremony with, and at the end we added our intentions for world peace into those containers with Carrie's direction. And then at the end, we just kind of created that awareness that this GANs is connected to all the GANs on the planet, all the GANs that we are, and expanding that potential for world peace and love across the planet. So
that was in a theater also, and it is recorded, and we'll be releasing that as a 21st Century Superhuman show. An amazing concept to have it in this small theater. It was beautiful with the people in there. And I just wanted to also mention that that GANs in there is actually a whole combination of ocean water GANSes from Florida, where Carrie started from, all the way up to Vancouver, and a couple other people had brought their GANSes as well. And so it really is an all-inclusive collective GANs. And then what we've been doing at the workshops is allowing everyone to take home some of this GANs. So this it's grown. Everywhere we go, there's more added, and it's a compilation of all of our love. Carrying our love forward.
Oh, and one exciting thing, we went around, trying to put up posters in town today, and putting them in the different shops and restaurants and things. And then we've gone into a couple of them where they either already had the flyers or were already using the technology.
Yeah.
Like this lady who's, has a business for like a health spa type of a place, and she showed us all the places in her facility she's already using the technology. But this was like a vial of GANs.
Yeah, it was amazing. We're there to tell her about plasma technology. She says, "Oh, we're already incorporating it." She puts it in her water.
To the people that are coming in. She has a hyperbaric chamber, so Whitney and I were talking to her about how to maybe incorporate that by wrapping a CO2 tube around the tube that's going into the hyperbaric chamber. I mean, she was already doing a lot of things anyways, but you know, what a beautiful thing. It's like we're almost entering the next step of this where people are actually using it to begin with, and you know, and just have a smile on their face and say, yeah, I know what you're talking about. You know, as you walk into their shop, it's like, yes.
And
yes.
last night, yeah, there was a gentleman at the theater that had turned his medications into a GANs, and he was wearing them duct taped around a cord on his neck. And
So
he's now, after 15 years, has reduced his taking his medication to one every 4 days instead, and now has less hunger because then he has another tube on his little necklace or cord around his neck with his food GANs. And so what we're also discovering as we go and hold these workshops is the amazing work that people have been doing. So it sounds, you know, it's, until we go connect with people, we don't really realize there are a lot of people working with this technology already in their homes. It doesn't come out until they're coming together. And this expose that's going to be on Sunday, I think is going to be fantastic, because there's a gentleman that has created some kind of large device.
yeah, it says 7 feet across.
7 feet across, and he's working very diligently to finish it by this weekend. And so we're finding out more and more, and we're hoping to really report on that. It's been such a fast journey. Carrie is excellent at getting pictures out on the internet. And now that we're with internet a little bit more consistently, it's easier to get more pictures out there too. But we've been really working to get pictures, as many pictures as possible, of the journey out to everyone, so that they can see what's going on and become more intrigued and interested. The other part is that we've also been finding out is how to really bridge the explanation of what this technology is to different groups and to grab their attention, because a poster that says, you know, plasma energy devices is not always going to grab people's attention. So we're finding new ways of being able to intrigue people with why they would want to come to one of these meetings. And anyway, so.
And one thing we kind of discovered in the last few days, that there was a possible place to, you know, get the information out was the different schools. And we've had a couple of people go into the high schools and ask the science teachers to give information to the students and give them a discount, basically, you know, on the admissions. And then there's a couple of local schools that are very let's say really open-minded groups, and we give a discount, you know, for their staff and their students to come in, and have the students come in for free with the adults, and you know, stuff like that, just to spark that younger crowd, because they're the ones, to me, that are going to resonate even more with this and understand it with a lot less explanation than us older people do. They won't need as much remapping as we have. So
Yeah.
There we go. So exciting.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the pictures and for the enthusiastic words as well. It gives us, gives everybody a good, you know, a good idea what it's like out there doing these workshops and so on.
Absolutely, highly recommend it to people, to just get a group of people in there, you know, together and just start.
Yes.
You know, we already know so much more than the person that hasn't been studying for a year. So just start somewhere. It's not too incredibly difficult. You know, we're just us, and everybody has been very satisfied with the workshops this far. Yeah. So we're not teaching advanced teaching. This is, you know, a good base.
Yep.
Right. Well, I think